Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Thursday, March 17, 2016. It's St. Patrick's Day. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. In a speech yesterday at Lloyd's, the chairman of Scor, the big French reinsurer, Dennis Kessler, warned that a UK exit from the European Union would be a disaster for reinsurers in both London and in Europe. Kessler became one of only a few reinsurance market executives to openly discuss their views on a potential exit by Britain. He said an exit would cause uncertainty in the short term as the UK negotiated separate deals with the EU. He added that that process could last around 3 or 4 years before the situation became stable. He said over the long term, an exit would make London less attractive for reinsurers. He said regional hubs such as Zurich and Singapore would seek to capitalize on the dampened appeal of the British capital. He went on to talk about a wide range of subjects, including the challenges presented by continued quantitative easing from central banks. On cue, as he was speaking, the Federal Reserve in the United States announced that it was not going to raise interest rates at their quarterly meeting. Kessler said that negative interest rates are a significant headwind for the industry, harming investment returns, and he's correct on that. Meanwhile, a little bit after Kessler spoke, the UK Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne, said that they're going to raise the premium tax on motor and home insurance premiums by 0.5%. There was a big sigh of relief. People had been expecting a premium increase of maybe about 3 percentage points. It was just last year that a 3.5% increase was put into place. The money that's going to be raised from this, an additional £700 million, Osborne said, is going to be used for flood defenses. Cat modeling firm AIR Worldwide has warned that residents of several southern U.S. states are facing historic flood levels following days of very, very heavy rain. They said that an anomalously strong upper-level low-pressure system located over Mexico in the southern U.S. has brought severe rainfall to Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. The firm did not give any loss estimates, but has said that flood level records had already been broken in those 3 states. A major disaster has been declared for the state of Louisiana, as well as for 17 counties in southeast Texas and in the state of Mississippi. Yesterday's sinking by the Argentinian Coast Guard of a Chinese fishing trawler has produced some more details. Beijing, of course, is expressing serious concerns and lodged urgent representations with the Argentinian government. The Argentinian authorities say now that they opened fire on the Chinese trawler as it deliberately tried to ram a Coast Guard vessel. The incident took place when the Chinese trawler, the name of it is the Lu Yan Wan Yu number 10, was fishing without permission about 850 miles south of Buenos Aires. The Argentinian Coast Guard chased and fired warning shots at the Chinese ship, which turned off its lights and deliberately tried to hit the government boat. All 32 Chinese sailors were saved. 4 were picked up by the Argentinians. The other 28 were picked up by a nearby Chinese ship. The boat's captain is due to be handed over to the Argentinians today for questioning. We've not been paying too much attention to this, but there are problems with the world's 7th largest economy, which is Brazil. Protests have now erupted across Brazilian cities after the current president, Dilma Rousseff, appointed her predecessor, Lula da Silva, as her chief of staff. The appointment gives Mr. da Silva a certain degree of immunity from prosecution. He had apparently been on the verge of being indicted. There is a tape conversation that has fed opposition claims. The tape conversation purportedly has the two speaking about methods for Mr. da Silva to avoid prosecution. One suggestion was that he be appointed chief of staff, which in fact he was. Tens of thousands of protesters have taken to the streets in Brasilia and Sao Paulo. The opposition is saying that they're using their positions to stay in power at all costs. This is an ongoing problem. It's going to be a very difficult thing to resolve, and as I say, they have an economy that's bigger than Canada, Australia, and numbers of others. An explosion at a bazaar in a trade area in the central part of Teheran yesterday left at least 39 people injured. The blast took place at about 5 p.m. local time. A gas cylinder is suspected behind the blast. A number of those injured were actually injured seriously. There's an organization called the Economist Intelligence Unit. It comes out with an annual list of top 10 risks facing the world. Donald Trump winning the American presidency is now considered one of those top 10 risks. However, it does not expect Mr. Trump to defeat Hillary Clinton, who it sees as his most likely Democratic contender. The organization says that the risk of Trump being president is riskier than Britain leaving the EU or an armed clash in the South China Sea, China encountering a hard economic landing, or Russia's intervention in the Ukraine and Syria preceding a new Cold War do rank higher than Mr. Trump becoming president. The company said that thus far Trump has given very few details of his policies, and these tend to be prone to constant revision. The EIU ranking uses a scale of 1 to 25, with the prospect of a Trump win garnering a rating of 12, which is the same level of risk as the rising threat of jihadi terrorism destabilizing the global economy. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.